Marquis Nanlong and Elder Lu Weiying await Han Li in Falling Devil Valley. Marquis Nanlong expresses concern over the fire toad's danger, suggesting the need for cultivators with counteracting cultivation techniques. Elder Lu Weiying believes the fire toad was not prominent in ancient times and speculates that the ones in the valley may have mutated. Han Li arrives at Falling Devil Valley, concealed by an azure cloak that obstructs divine sense. The trio plan to enter the inner valley to eliminate the fire toad. The inner valley is sealed by an ancient restriction. Accessing the passage requires breaking the restriction or using the north light. Marquis Nanlong uses sensing bells to detect spatial fluctuations, circumventing the danger of spatial rifts. An eerie gray mist channel, pressed by a crimson light, blocks entry to the inner valley. Han Li and his companions release a 1,000-mile oriole to scout, and discover that the mist is a demonic fog emitted by an ancient beast. Lu and Nan decide to join forces to kill the ancient beast. But Han Li notices another figure hidden nearby. The emaciated man, Huang Tianming, appears, revealing that he possesses an invisibility talisman and has been spying for some time. Lu Weiyan releases the Dharma banner and Hurricane Han Li investigates with the silver bowl. A giant snake's tail appears. Breaking the hurricane, Lu Weiyan explodes the hurricane to dispel the gray fog. Nanlong Marquis Golden Giant Sword and Han Li's Silver Bowl attack the snake python simultaneously but are repelled by green light. The python swallows the Silver Bowl and Giant Sword. Nanlong Marquis Divine Consciousness is blocked. Nanlong Marquis uses a green ring. Lu Weiyan releases a white fireball. Han Li releases 4 white beams. The white wolf puppet self-destructs, severely injuring the giant serpent's 2 heads. Marquis Nanlong and Elder Lu launch attacks, holding back the giant serpent. Han Li unleashes the 1,000 Peaks, trapping the giant serpent. The giant serpent breaks free from the Jade Circle Jin Ji, but is engulfed by fire. The Black Mountain falls, severely injuring the giant serpent. Elder Lu finishes it off, killing the giant serpent. The giant serpent's vitality is tenacious, but only one head remains alive. Elder Lu finally kills it. The giant serpent's strength is not as formidable as rumored. Lu Weiying's flying knife left a faint mark on the stone wall, and Han Li discovered that it contained a precious ore vein of tough silver sand. Han Li used his flying sword to confirm that the stone wall contained an entire ore vein of tough silver sand. Lu Weiying stared greedily at the tough silver sand, but the Marquis of Nanlong reminded him to focus on their main goal of finding the spirit medicine. Lu Weiying suddenly realized his mistake, and the Marquis of Nanlong and Han Li entered the cave together. Han Li heard the voice of Supreme Divinity Dayan in his mind, instructing him to use the gold-devouring beetles to collect the tough silver sand, and promised to provide him with a method. Han Li was pleasantly surprised and agreed to the condition of Supreme Divinity Dayan. Preparing to collect the tough silver sand to refine a puppet, Han Li deployed the 2-yi ring to break through the Arctic primal light, providing protection for the trio. Han Li tested the defensive spiritual treasures' effectiveness, which was easily broken through by the Arctic primal light. Han Li and the others re-entered the Arctic primal light, passing through safely under the protection of the 2-yi ring. The Ghost Spirit Sect fought an ancient beast elsewhere, with the elder surnamed Zhang killing it with his attack. The Ghost Spirit Sect discovered an ice crevice leading to the inner valley and entered it. Ziling found traces left by the Ghost Spirit Sect, deducing their route to the inner valley. The inner valley is a chaotic place, filled with colorful light and violent spiritual energy. Han Li and the others discover a large number of white light clouds, which are space cracks, floating in the air. The Nanlong Marquis explains that hidden space cracks do not move, based on the space crack sensing technique recorded in the Keng Kun's remains. Han Li and the others fly cautiously along Keng Kun's route map, avoiding contact with the space cracks and ancient restrictions. Elder Lu and Marquis Nanlong find that both paths to the fire toad beast's lair are dangerous. The mountain peak on the left has a dozen or so flying violet-striped scorpions, which are extremely ferocious and not to be trifled with. The other path has invisible spatial cracks, which are equally dangerous. Han Li remembers the entry on the strange insect list about the violet-striped scorpions and advises against provoking them. Marquis Nanlong had originally thought that the 3 of them could team up to deal with the violet-striped scorpions, but he wavers upon hearing Elder Lu's fear of the scorpions. Han Li secretly speculates that Marquis Nanlong may have set a trap for them to lure them to the violet-striped scorpions. After some deliberation, Han Li proposes using the 10 Absolutes poison to deal with the violet-striped scorpions. The puppets triggered the buzzing call of the purple mark scorpion, launching an attack against their vital essence. But Han Li and the others were fortunate to have potent divine senses. Han Li used his giant ape puppet to lure away the purple mark scorpion, allowing them to safely cross the scorpion's nest. The mountain range transformed into an inferno, resembling a scorching prison, as they arrived at a crimson peak, which they suspected to be the nest of the fire-toad beast. Marquis Nanlong proposed using a water attribute magic formation to draw the fire-toad beast out of its nest for extermination. And Han Li agreed. Han Li set up the magic formation, preparing to use the puppets to lure out the fire-toad beast. The white wolf puppet entered the cave and encountered a high-temperature molten environment. On a boulder in the center of the lava lake, a fire-toad beast slumbered, while on the stone platform opposite lay the remains of a cultivator. As Han Li divine sense probed the remains, it was repelled by the green robe, and the fire-toad beast was awakened and pursued the white wolf puppet. Marquis Nanlong and another cultivator prepared a magic formation to counterattack. With ice flames and magic treasures in hand, the fire-toad beast spewed fireballs to eliminate the white wolf puppet, causing Han Li's expression to change slightly. But he remained unconcerned. A blinding red light erupted, and a pillar of fire sent the attacker flying. The fire-toad seized the opportunity to escape. Han Li swiftly severed the fire-toad's foreleg, preventing its escape. Marquis Nanlong and Elder Lu continued to attack the fire-toad, but its light shield was impenetrable. Han Li joined the battle, using his ice-based divine abilities and casting the exorcism Divine Thunder. The fire-toad launched fireballs at Han Li's gold sword, but Han Li detected that they were not solid objects. The decapitated fire-toad beast possessed an indestructible body, but Han Li used a flying sword to seal and shatter its divine light, thereby eliminating it and obtaining the demon core. Han Li noticed that Nanlong Hu and the Lu surname elder were interested in the demon core, but he guessed that the two were apprehensive of his strength, so they did not turn against him. The three went to the cave in the fire-toad lair, and Nanlong Hu and the Lu surname elder showed interest in the remains of the ancient cultivator, trying to use their divine senses to search for treasures. Han Li knew that the ancient robe on the remains could resist divine sense exploration, so he smiled and let the two experience it for themselves. Nanlong Hu and the Lu surname elder's divine senses were repelled by the ancient robe. Realizing its extraordinariness, a jade slip describing the formula to refine 7 flames fan was unearthed from a jade box. But the required materials are very rare and are no longer available in this world. 2 emerald green medicinal pills, giving off a refreshing fragrance, were also found in the vials. They are not the common type of ancient elixirs, but they are not poisonous either. The Marquis of Nanlong intends to share the medicinal pills evenly among the 3 people. But an old man surnamed Lu suggested that they appraise their value first before allocating them. After seizing an ancient treasure and securing the green silkworm robe, Han Li resolves to return to Outer Valley with Nanlong Hu and Elder Lu. With ulterior motives within Inner Valley, Nanlong Hu and Elder Lu decline Han Li's offer to accompany them, revealing they have found a teleportation array back to Outer Valley. Departing alone, Nanlong Hu dispatches his 1,000-mile Shrike to track Han Li while using stealth techniques to confirm his departure. Elder Lu remains suspicious of Han Li's true nature and upon casting a soundproof barrier, speculates with Nanlong Hu that Han Li may have discerned the secret of the crystalline remains. Han Li discovers the possible existence of a significant secret at the marked location on the map of Devilfall Valley, but decides to attend to other matters first. Great Zenith Divine Monarch agrees to search for alternative materials to forge a replication of 7 Flames fan, but requests Han Li to fulfill a request within his capabilities. Han Li approaches the violet-patterned scorpion lair while Marquis Nanlong and Elder Lu enter an underground passage in search of the blood curse door. They discover a stalactite cave containing a jade-green pool. Marquis Nanlong suggests that the blood curse door is located there, but it is concealed by restrictions that must be lifted. Nanlong Hu and Lu Weiyin prepare to open a sealed door, but it exudes an ominous bloodlust. They plan to place restraints outside the door first to secure an escape route. Elsewhere, the Ghost Spirit Sect travels to a colossal mountain in search of the legendary Lingmiao Garden. The sect leader is adamant about its existence, while Wei Wuya dismisses it as mere hearsay. The sect leader reveals that they have obtained proof of Ling Yao Garden's existence but will not share it with Wei Wuya until they reach it. Wei Wuya expresses skepticism and inquires about Elder Zhang's whereabouts. The sect leader states that Elder Zhang is searching for treasure in another secluded location. Lu Weiying and Nanlong Ho set up a magic formation for emergencies. They plan to break the Blood Curse Gate, which required the essence from the ancient cultivators' remains. Nanlong Ho used his flying sword to crush the remains and envelop them in rosy light. The Marquis of Nanlong and the old man entered the secret chamber and found a spirit medicine on the altar table and a strange restriction. The old man recognized the restriction as the Little Sumeru Diamond Formation, which could only be broken by continuously attacking it with brute force. After the restriction was broken, a silver bowl, a jade talisman, a small sword, a mace, and a round pearl appeared on the altar table. The Marquis of Nanlong and the old man realized that these treasures were even more precious. So they decided to work together to break the restriction. The two of them took out their magic tools and prepared to start attacking the restriction. Han Li successfully reaches the inner valley of the Valley of Fallen Demons and collects a rich amount of star silver crystals. The great derivation god Jun is surprised by the size of the mine and plans to use the materials to make mechanical puppets. Han Li discovers that someone is active in the valley and becomes more vigilant. According to the direction indicated by the ball, Han Li arrives at a lush green forest. Han Li crushes the sphere, releasing a turquoise spirit light, and follows its direction. Han Li and the Ghost Spirit Sect pursue the Elder Zhang and his group. The Ghost Spirit Sect enters a basin and discovers an altar. Despite the treacherous path, the group suspects the altar in the center of the basin is connected to Spirit Void Garden. A spatial rift suddenly appears, killing a Ghost Spirit Sect disciple. The Ghost Spirit Sect master becomes concerned upon realizing the presence of the spatial rift. Wang Tianjiu tests the rift with fireballs and discovers that it is small enough to navigate around. The Ghost Spirit Sect master reveals the source of his information about Spirit Void Garden as a scroll painting. The scroll painting is the same suspicious portrait scroll of the Venerable Azure that Wang Tianjiu obtained from the hidden treasure in the Mulan Grasslands. The ghostly Taoist sect discovers a Confucian phantom, confirming it as the remnant soul of Taoist Kang Kun. Wei Wuya learns that the information about the Spirit Mirage Garden came from a remnant soul, and indicates he only cares about accessing the garden, not the agreement. Han Li discovers that the flying rat is out of control, but the devouring gold bug and weeping soul beast are safe. He prepares to use his magical powers to search for the ghostly Taoist sect. Zi Ling has complicated feelings for Han Li, between friendship and romantic attachment, but Han Li maintains distance. Han Li and Zi Ling followed the Ghost Spirit Sect members after evading the spatial cracks and restrictions with the help of Han Li clear and bright spiritual law. Due to triggering the restriction, the Ghost Spirit Sect members were in chaos. Han Li used his divine sense to investigate the restriction's strength and discovered that it was insufficient to trap a mid-nascent soul cultivator. Han Li took a risk by altering his route, evading the Ghost Spirit Sect, and approaching a verdant mountain range with a mountain that resembled a flying bird. Corresponding to the marking's description, Han Li suggested using an illusion array to conceal the mountain because he believed that destroying it would expose the marking's location. Han Li summoned Yin Yu, a subordinate knowledgeable in illusions, to set up an illusion array and conceal the mountain using both the illusion array equipment and his own illusions. However, it was unclear whether the effectiveness of the illusion array would mislead the divine senses of nascent soul cultivators. Nanlong Hu and the old man find a treasure on the altar, and both become wary. The old man proposes to divide the spirit medicines equally, and Nanlong Hu agrees but asks for the round bowl. The old man agrees, and the two men divide the treasures and spirit medicines. Nanlong Hu realizes that the old man's treasure is a magic weapon to suppress the round bowl, and he applies talismans to prevent it from being opened. The spirit medicines suddenly disappear, and the talisman on the round bowl burns itself out. The round bowl bursts open, and a beam of dark light shoots into Nanlong Hou's face, disappearing. The demonized body of Marquis of Nanlong attacks an old man with the surname Lu. The old man uses his protective light curtain to defend himself, but Marquis of Nanlong uses brute force to break it. The old man uses his primordial spirit to escape, but is penetrated by a ghost-faced tongue from behind and devoured. Marquis of Nanlong kills the old man's physical body and escapes into the passage. Marquis of Nanlong sabotages the magic formation and rushes to the surface of the pool. Han Li and Ziling arrive in the inner valley and discover that the spirit herbs have been partially consumed by a guardian ancient beast. Han Li probes the lake with his divine sense and detects the formidable guardian ancient beast. Han Li releases tens of thousands of gold devouring beetles and 36 blue bamboo bee cloud swords, and deploys the Great Jin sword formation. Han Li launches a golden lightning orb at the lake's surface, provoking the guardian ancient beast with black and white Yao Qi. The guardian ancient beast has a grotesque appearance, and neither Han Li nor Ziling can identify its origins. As a precaution, Han Li commands the gold-devouring beetles to attack the guardian ancient beast. Han Li obtains the demon pill, putting away the spirit beast bag and flying sword. Han Li and Ziling go to the lake to pick the spirit candle fruit, and Ziling gives Han Li one. Han Li checks the map and finds that the location of the desert is near the fallen Devil Valley. He plans to refine the creation pill before going there. Han Li uses a wooden box to hold the spirit candle fruit. Finding that the roots cannot be transplanted, Han Li and Ziling leave on the Gale chariot, planning to refine the creation pill on the way and then go to the fallen Devil Valley to search for treasure. The azure cauldron emitted waves of heat in the infant flames. As Han Li added various materials and cast spells, Han Li refined alchemical pills. Lightning rumbling from the cauldron. He adjusted the spells while observing the cauldron. The Ghost Spirit Sect members struggled to ascend the altar as gravity intensified. Wei Wuxia effortlessly reached the altar's summit, his thoughts racing with admiration for the Ghost Spirit Sect's leader. The altar's top featured jade-tiled ground, a jade altar table, 4 rune stone pillars, and a Kirin statue. The Ghost Spirit Sect's leader scanned the sky, while Wei Wuxia inquired about the entrance to the Spirit Void Garden. The entrance to the Ling Miao Garden is a spatial rift, but it is hidden by a restriction that even Nascent Soul cultivators could not detect. The Confucian scholar claims to have a way to send everyone into the Ling Miao Garden, but it is risky, with only a 6,070 chance of success. The Ghost Spirit Sect's sect master casts a soul-shocking curse to punish the Confucian scholar, warning him not to be so arrogant. The Confucian scholar spits out a jet-black orb, infuses it with soul power, and the orb enters the spatial rift, causing a loud noise. An invisible ghost exploded when trying to enter the passage, injuring Wang Tianmu. The Confucian scholar explained that only physical entities can enter the passage and he entered with the help of a painting. Demons cannot enter the passage directly. After Wei Wuxia entered first, the Ghost Spirit Gatekeeper and Wang Tianmu followed. After entering, they found that the space was not Ling Miaoyuan, but a dim space filled with demonic energy. The Ghost Spirit Gatekeeper found that the concentration of demonic energy was higher than in the human world, which was beneficial for cultivation. The Ghost Spirit Gatekeeper prepared to summon a spiritual avatar, which escaped from the painting, and the Ghost Spirit Gatekeeper was unable to stop it. Wei Wuxia reveals the grievance between the Saint Realm and the ancient demonic realm, warning the master of the Ghost Spirit Sect and Wang Tianmu. The Confucian scholar proposes a trade, helping them undo the sealing of the ancient demon and infuse them with genuine demonic energy, raising their realm. Wei Wuxia uncovers the Confucian scholar's plot, believing that the infusion of demonic energy will cause them to lose their senses and become puppets of the ancient demon. The master of the Ghost Spirit Sect and Wang Tianmu hesitate. Wei Wuxia's soul-breaking serpent attacks the Confucian scholar, revealing the location of his soul stone. The Confucian scholar is killed by the soul-breaking serpent. The master of the Ghost Spirit Sect and Wang Tianmu prepare to leave. A unicorn ghost head appears, forbidding the three from leaving and vowing to take their lives. Han Li consumes the creation pill and enters an illusion, experiencing immense magical power and comprehending the power and spirit of heaven and earth. The cultivation technique in the illusion is unclear, but it aids in breaking through cultivation realms. Upon leaving seclusion, he learns that Ziling has already emerged, and the puppet beast remains outside the cave entrance. Han Li and Ziling encounter a massive iceberg. Han Li remains calm and deploys his blue iceberg to counter it. The iceberg is incredibly sturdy, remaining undamaged after a barrage of air blasts. Han Li surmises that the air blasts originate from a disruption in spiritual energy, potentially related to a spatial rift. However, he expresses concern that the blasts could pose a threat to cultivators below the Nascent Soul stage. Upon learning about the unusual spiritual energy fluctuations ahead, Han Li decides to retrace their path to avoid potential danger. He stores the iceberg, demonstrating his improved control over the frostfire technique. Suddenly, fellow Taoist Lingu of the Yellow Maple Valley and senior fellow Taoist Nangong Wan of the Veiling Moon Sect flee in disarray. With pursuers seemingly on their trail, Han Li suspects that the pursuers may be connected to Mulan, the Righteous. To avoid being targeted, he and Ziling use a concealment technique to mask their presence. A demonic spirit possesses the Marquis of Nanlong. Patriarch Lingu fights hard but is defeated, and his protective barrier is about to shatter. A woman in white appears to help, trapping the Marquis of Nanlong with 5 colored pillars of light, giving Patriarch Lingu a chance to escape. Patriarch Lingu and the woman in white join forces to attack, using talismans to unleash thunder and fire to engulf the Marquis of Nanlong. Han Li and the Grand Divine Monarch suspect that the demonic spirit possessing the Marquis of Nanlong is an ancient demon. Han Li dismisses the weak Ziling to prevent her death. Han Li uses the repelling evil divine thunder against the ancient demon Nanlong who recognizes Han Li and expresses fear toward his abilities. Nanlong Hu conceals his presence, but Han Li uses his divine sight of clarity and clarity to lock onto his location and attack with precision, surprising Nanlong Hu. Nanlong Hu uses his black and red demonic flames to counter Han Li repelling evil divine thunder, which Han Li realizes may drain the demon's essence. Nanlong Hu suddenly transforms into his original form and attacks Han Li, who defends himself with his silver feather lightning rock wings. Marquis Nanlong summons tiger demon puppets to besiege Marquis Nanlong. However, Marquis Nanlong's fists are extremely tough and easily destroy the puppets. At the same time, Han Li summons Heavenly Absolute Corpse and launches a sneak attack on Marquis Nanlong. Marquis Nanlong senses it and successfully dodges. Han Li recovers his magic power and summons Heavenly Lightning Thunder and Purple Flames, making Marquis Nanlong wary. The ancient treasure temporarily stops, and the golden insect cloud escapes from the flames and flies towards Han Li. Marquis Nanlong decides to use his full strength. The demonic energy and bones on his body make a strange sound, preparing to release some powerful force. Han Li learns from Lord Dayan about the power of the ancient demon's devil arts. Old Ancestor Lingu and the white-clothed woman fight against Marquis Nanlong. After transforming, Marquis Nanlong appears as a 4-armed, 2-headed monster. The Devil Soul uses the ancient demon's devil arts, tainting Old Ancestor Lingus' treasured mystical light ring and taking it for himself. Remembering the images on the Brahma Saint's true record and in the cave dwelling of Taoist Master Cancun, Han Li speculates that the Devil Soul is related to them. However, he must now provoke the Devil Soul to lure it into the Great Jin sword formation. A purplish black and green aura approach rapidly, releasing frightening demonic energy and toxic fog. The purplish black aura originates from an unknown creature, with demonic energy comparable to the late Nascent Soul stage. The woman in white recognizes the green aura as Wei Wuya's poison skill. While Han Li and Ancestor Lingu look on with grave expressions, the three are locked onto by the creature's divine sense, facing the decision of whether to aid Wei Wuya. Han Li detects other cultivators approaching in the distance, including the silver-haired elder and other disciples of the Luo Yun sect. Worried about their safety, Han Li decides to join the battle. Han Li summons a puppet to assist him, surprising Old Ancestor Lingu and the woman in white. On approaching the battlefield, Han Li sees a demonic beast with a unicorn horn on its forehead and crystalline skin within the purple and red demonic light. The demonic beast remains still but emits a thunderous roar and hurls a black fireball at the green cloud. Old Ancestor Lingu believes the demonic beast is restricted by a seal and suggests they seize the opportunity to eliminate it. But Han Li offers his objections. Han Li discovers Silver-Haired Elder and his company, warning them of the demonic beast's power and proposing they join forces to combat it. Silver-Haired Elder confers with his companions, and true person Tianjing recognizes Han Li while an older man with a face full of wrinkles looks at Han Li with curiosity. Wei Wuxia telepathically informs them of the ancient demon's existence and the damage to the seal, requesting their cooperation to stop it. Ancient Demon, the demon head, fights off the demon soul and occupies the demon body, triggering a struggle between the two sides. Ancient Demon, the demon head, advocates swallowing the cultivator's nascent soul first and then deciding their roles, which the demon soul agrees to. Han Li commands the cultivators to take separate actions, with Wei Wuya delaying the demon soul while the others deal with Ancient Demon. The Demon Head. Ancient Demon. The Demon Head releases black-purple demonic light, with the demon soul hidden within. Wei Wuya releases venomous jiaos and toxic fog to resist the demonic light, with Patriarch Lingu and the woman in white joining Wei Wuya's fight. Han Li employs the divine clear spirit eyes to search for traces of the demonic soul. But the results are poor. The demonic soul manifests its form, releases a magical treasure and attacks, crushing Han Li ice spikes. Han Li unleashes a devouring swarm of gold worms to sense the location of the demonic soul. The demonic soul appears and launches an attack of black waves against the swarm of gold worms. But Han Li uses a lightning ball to sneak attack the demonic soul. Other cultivators also join the fight, attacking the demonic soul. After transforming into the demonic soul, it easily defeated the celestial corpse and killed the three-colored gold devouring beetles with its sonic waves. The demonic soul used its bone spurs to kill the corpse wraith, causing the celestial corpse to lose its fighting ability. Han Li controlled the golden sword projection and puppets to attack the demonic soul. But the demonic soul's escape technique was superb, and it destroyed the puppets one by one. Facing Han Li's sword shadows, firebirds, and blood demon sword, the demonic soul exuded coldness, while Han Li summoned his wind thunder wings, preparing for battle. Elder Silver Hair and other Nascent Soul cultivators broke through the demonic soul's restrictions and attacked it from afar, which delighted Han Li. The demonic soul abandoned Han Li and charged towards Elder Silver Hair and the others. But Han Li used the giant tortoise puppet to release blue light beams to protect them. Celestial Crystal True Person and others brandished talisman seals, firefoxes, and evil ghost puppets to resist the demonic soul, who unleashed 4 black light blades, 2 of which targeted one of the evil ghost puppets. The other evil ghost puppet spewed out yin qi and cold threads, while fiery clouds rolled down, and a flame giant claw descended towards the demonic soul's evil ghost head. A black blade surge sliced through the old mont's protective shield, and a demonic spirit manifested a black spear to shoot the old man. The old man used his nascent soul to teleport, but he was trapped in a black net. The silver-haired old man was sneak attacked by the demonic spirit's black spear. But Han Li Bloodsword came to his aid and repelled the spear. The heavenly crystal true person's protective shield was torn apart by the demonic spirit's claws, and his nascent soul was devoured by the demonic spirit. After devouring the heavenly crystal true person's nascent soul, the demonic spirit looked at the silver-haired old man and Han Li with a yearning gaze. After being struck by the golden lightning bamboo artifact, the demon soul casts a crimson light spear to repel the giant sword. Injured, Han Li recalls the golden lightning bamboo artifact, but is pursued by a crimson giant hand. Han Li uses an incantation to increase the speed of the golden lightning bamboo artifact, allowing it to evade the crimson giant hand. The demon soul attempts to ambush Han Li with his demonic chi and crimson long saber, but Han Li detects and evades the attack. Han Li activates the Great Jin sword formation, using golden threads to entangle the demon soul. The merging of the Jiaohan into Han Li body transformed him, and his cultivation level soared to the top of the initial stage of the nascent soul realm. Han Li was determined to kill the demon soul in the sword formation with all his might to prevent the two demons from merging. The demon soul self-mutilated its arm to save its life, transforming it into a bone sword and injecting it with demonic energy to resist the blood demon sword. Han Li activated the blood demon sword with full force and attacked, while the demon soul also sacrificed the bone sword to fight back. The two swords collided, creating a huge explosion that formed a black sphere, which continuously stretched and distorted. 5 colored rays of light shot out from the sphere and illuminated the sword formation. Han Li is trapped in the remnant of the Spirit Strand Garden by a space rift and encounters a soul fiend. The soul fiend summons tentacles of fiend chi to attack Han Li, who uses his warding evil divine thunder to defend himself. Just as the two are about to engage in battle, the space suddenly trembles and a silver beam of light descends from the sky, obliterating the soul fiend. Han Li discovers rare and valuable medicinal herbs that are over 10,000 years old, including the Wan Meng fruit, Dragon Wian grass, and Wind Spirit flower. The Grand Origin Divine Lord helps Han Li identify the herbs, and Han Li confirms the alchemy ingredients with an ancient herbal elixir recipe. Han Li plans to refine the Crimson Cloud Pill to enhance his cultivation. and the snow soul pill to strengthen his icy powers. Han Li transplants the herbs to continue cultivating and using them. Han Li's lost flying sword remains missing, but he believes that due to its nature is his life-bound magic treasure. It should be possible to retrieve it. Han Li enters the ruins of the Ling Miao Garden and discovers that the restrictions are designed for ancient demons. After exploring the spatial obstacles, he finds that there is no escape. He tries to attack the space with the exorcism thunder and purple flames, but to no avail. The Great Derivation Divine Monarch points out that the spatial remnants are unstable, and the weakest point is likely to be within the spatial interior. Ningzhou is a small, sparsely populated state near Changzhou with few spirit veins that are occupied by small immortal cultivation families. Linglan Mountain is one of the spirit veins in Ningzhou, where 3 immortal cultivation families, the Huang, Li, and Wang, reside on their respective peaks. The 3 families jointly own an unknown spirit spring that can cleanse the marrow and transform the meridians of low-level disciples. It is opened once every 10 years for shared use by the 3 families. The Spirit Spring opening ceremony is presided over by Foundation Establishment and Qi Refinement cultivators, who remove the array restrictions and open a gap in the stone wall to reveal the Spirit Spring in the jade pool. The Spirit Spring is crystal clear and emits a refreshing fragrance. It has the effect of cleansing the marrow and transforming the meridians, and is highly valued by the disciples of the families. Huang Yuanming and other cultivators unease over the fact that Han Li may have noticed the spiritual spring. Han Li shows little interest in the spiritual spring and inquires about the recent major events in Tianlan instead. Huang Yuanming invites Han Li to the Huang Estate Hall to entertain him with tea while answering his questions. Most cultivation sects in the East Joy Nation are controlled by influential families, making it difficult for disciples from minor families to enter the major sects. Han Li tastes the spirit tea and compliments its quality. Huang Yuanming attempts to sound out Han Li's identity, but Han Li refuses to reveal his name, promising rewards for satisfactory answers. Ancient demon resuscitates but gets encircled by nascent soul scholars. The outcome is uncertain. A giant vortex appears in the endless sea, spurting out spiritual energy to purify the sea surface. The spiritual energy around 7 surrounding islets becomes irresistible. Han Li examines major events in almost 2 decades, learning that no one has ever been able to get within 3,000 zhang of the vortex in the endless sea. Aside from the ancient demon and the vortex incidents, other major events are unimportant, mostly involving fights over spiritual medicines or treasures. Han Li gives Huang Yuanming and 3 other scholars a pair of golden severing spears. Han Li questions the transformation into an ancient devil. The Grand Exalt of the originating divinity explains that while fiend cultivators who ascend to the devil realm can maintain their human form, high-level ancient devils entice some cultivators to become directly devilish, making them sentient ancient devils. Primordial ancient devils and ancient devils of the monster race have different forms. The former are beings of supreme status in the ancient devil realm, while the latter are ascended monster fiends. The monster race began cultivating devil arts earlier than humans, and their relationship with the ancient devils is unknown. Han Li expresses no interest in monster race techniques or their relation to ancient devils. Han Li asks the Grand Exalt of the originating divinity for a method to refine the 7 Flames fan since his flying sword was destroyed. The Grand Exalt of the originating divinity revises the refinement method for the 7 Flames fan, reducing the materials and also the power, calling it the 3 Flames fan. The 3 Flames fan still lacks Sunbird's long feather and Fire Jiao scales, and the Grand Exalt of the originating divinity suggests seeking the bird feather from Sunward Palace and notes that the Fire Jiao may be found after reaching Great Jin. Han Li advanced to the mid-nascent soul stage in the Valley of Fallen Demons, shocking his brothers Cheng and Lu. Han Li recounted the battle in the Valley of Fallen Demons. An ancient devil was severely injured and decapitated, but escaped the encirclement. The ancient devil fled to the Great Jin, and Han Li's expression changed slightly, but he didn't reveal the reason. Brothers Cheng and Lu guarded the forbidden area, allowing Han Li to go alone to lift Nangong's poison curse. Han Li returns to his cave abode and finds everything as usual, including the tricolored devouring gold bugs, Black Heaven Immortal Vine, and 9-bend spiritual ginseng. The infant 6-winged frost centipede is retrieved and released into the insect nurturing room, and its evolutionary traits give Han Li an idea to cultivate them for the possibility of increasing his escape speed. Yin Yu informs Han Li that Mu Peeling has arrived outside, and Han Li invites her in. Mu Peeling congratulates Han Li for advancing to mid-Nascent Soul stage, and Han Li tells her not to stand on ceremony. Han Li expresses his gratitude for Mu Peeling's company during his time in the Far West and praises her for holding down the fort in his cave abode. Mu Peeling agrees to cultivate the pinnacle Yuan building technique on the condition that Han Li helps her advance to the late nascent soul stage. Han Li promises to help her form an infant, condense a nascent soul, and gives her pointers on the key aspects of forming a golden core. Han Li plans to nurture Mu Peeling as a capable assistant who can manage sect affairs and accompany Wainer. Although Han Li obtained the spirit medicine from the Ling Miao garden, there was no medicine to prolong his life. Therefore, he was in distress and he mentioned the matter of collecting materials to his senior. His senior gave Han Li the materials that he had collected back then, which included the materials needed to refine the nascent soul puppet. Han Li was overjoyed. Han Li inquired about the whereabouts of the flying sword that was lost back then and learned that the flying sword had been taken by the ancient demon. But the whereabouts of the ancient demon were unknown, so the flying sword was difficult to retrieve. Han Li and his companions arrive at the platform of the refining hall on the mountainside of 100 Refinements Courtyard. Beneath 100 Refinements Courtyard is the earth-slung fire pool, which is advantageous for refining artifacts and cultivating fire attribute techniques. Han Li and his companions soar up the mountainside and stop at the entrance of a cave, where they are greeted by two elders of 100 Refinements Courtyard. One of the elders recognizes that Han Li has advanced to the mid-core formation stage and is shocked. The elders of 100 Refinements Courtyard invite Han Li and his companions to witness the recognition ceremony of the Universe Tower, which is one of the three most important treasures of 100 Refinements Courtyard. Han Li and his companions are led into a spacious hall with luxurious furnishings. LV Luo asks if Old Monster Jin of Ancient Sword Sect will come to watch the ceremony, and the elders of 100 Refinements Courtyard confirm that Old Monster Jin will come but are unsure of the exact time. Han Li first meets the mid-nascent soul cultivator, Old Monster Jin, who expresses surprise at his cultivation progress. Elder Cheng welcomes Old Monster Jin warmly, emphasizing that Han Li is now an elder of the Fallen Cloud Sect and has no relation to the Yellow Maple Valley. The group enjoys the newly introduced fire pomegranate from the 100 Ingenuity Pavilion, which Han Li finds agreeable. Ming Xin, a young married woman from the Ancient Sword Sect, introduces herself and shows interest in Han Li. As the group engages in casual conversation, Fiery, the Grand Elder of the 100 Ingenuity Pavilion, arrives and invites everyone to a presentation. Old Monster Jin and Fiery are on familiar terms and suggest a spar after the presentation. Han Li noticed the disciples of the Baichao Institute chasing a pagoda. When the giant cauldron opened, a white light pagoda flew out. The young disciples immediately started chasing after it. Han Li analyzed the pagoda, determining that the disciples wouldn't be able to catch up. However, the pagoda's strength was also limited. Ming Xin approached Han Li and praised his abilities. She then inquired about the elder of the Great Jin demon sect. Han Li noticed the floral fragrance on Ming Xin and felt a sense of familiarity. Han Li complimented Ming Xin's Baihui Yangchun resolution, surprising her with his knowledge of the technique. Suddenly, Han Li looked up into the sky, but he didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Confronted by the few grand cultivators, the cultivators abstained from provoking the Radiant Sun Ancestor and descended to the ground. The Radiant Sun Ancestor thanked Han Li for restraining the ancient fiend's primordial soul in the Valley of Fallen Demons, and inquired about its whereabouts. Han Li answered that he had extinguished it in the rift. The Radiant Sun Ancestor divulged that one of the ancient fiend's soul fragments had exhibited extraordinary powers with its 3 heads and 6 arms, possessing strength comparable to the initial stage of the nascent soul realm. He further revealed that it had fled to Grand Jin. The Radiant Sun Ancestor expressed an additional reason for seeking Han Li, and asked if he possessed the Golden Thunder Bamboo treasure and the Divine Baneful Lightning. Han Li affirmed this. The Radiant Sun Ancestor emphasized the gravity of the matter, which concerned the entire Heavenly South cultivation world and the boundless sea vortex. He invited Han Li to Seven Spirits Island for further discussion. Han Li unleashes a blue firebird to attack Old Monster Jin. Old Monster Jin uses sword into silk to release hundreds of golden threads, forming a giant golden net to ensnare the firebird. The firebird explodes, revealing a blue light lotus that resists the golden thread's attack. Old Monster Jin intensifies the golden threads, cutting through the blue aura, but failing to penetrate the lotus. The lotus blossoms, releasing a blue Han Guang that seals Old Monster Jin's flying sword. Han Li uses a blue flame palm to subdue Old Monster Jin. Old Monster Jin concedes defeat, causing Han Li to put away his treasures and recall the lotus. The Grand Elder position of the fallen Cloud Sect is offered to Han Li, but he declines. Han Li is concerned that taking on the role of Grand Elder will interfere with his cultivation and the management of the sect, and cites his unfamiliarity with the lower-ranking disciples and nascent soul stage nephews and nieces. He emphasizes that he will continue to look after the fallen Cloud Sect, but as an ordinary elder, and offers the Grand Elder position to Lu Luo. Han Li uses bright clear spirit to display his secret technique and discovers the abnormality of the Void Heaven Cauldron. He employs cyan spiritual threads to activate the spiritual power inside the cauldron, causing the Void Heaven Cauldron to expand into a giant cauldron. Han Li sticks to the cauldron wall and transforms the blue ice flame into a blue flood dragon that enters the cauldron, turning the cauldron blue. Ancient scriptures appear inside the cauldron, forming the incantation technique for controlling the Void Heaven Cauldron. The scriptures reveal two conditions for controlling the Void Heaven Cauldron: refining the dry blue ice flame and cultivating the treasure refining formula. The first layer of the treasure refining formula requires Yuan Ying mid-stage cultivation, with subsequent levels requiring even higher cultivation. Han Li is disappointed by the limited power of the Void Heaven Cauldron as described in the scriptures. He decides to study the first layer of the treasure refining formula to seal the Void Heaven Cauldron within his body and enhance its spirituality. Han Li, who is highly respected in the Tianlan cultivation world, travels to Spirit Turtle Island to consult with Ascendant Yang. Ascendant Yang does not reveal the reason for his invitation and instead discusses the situation in the surrounding seas. Wei Wuya then arrives and informs Han Li of the connection between the ancient demons and the vast whirlpool in the boundless sea. Taiching sect once had a connection with Great Jin, but the inheritance was cut off long ago. Han Li was invited to unlock the sealed formation, which required him to go deep into the depths of the devilish energy to bury the formation disc. Han Li suggested exploring the devilish energy first, and the Sun Cultivator agreed. The three of them went to the great whirlpool and witnessed the miraculous sight of refined spiritual energy. The old devil of Hawan was indifferent to Han Li's use of the evil spirit lightning but agreed to his request to explore the devilish energy. Wei Wuxia believes that after Han Li advances to the late nascent soul stage, he will no longer pose a threat to the South Heaven cultivators, because Wei Wuxia is about to pass away, and Han Li will not advance to the transformation stage in a short period of time. The former elder devil of the heavenly south tries to draw Wei Wuxia into a conspiracy against Han Li, but Wei Wuxia refuses, thinking that allying against Han Li is unwise and that the likelihood of Han Li unifying South Heaven is low. So he will not affect Wei Wuxia's current power. Han Li and Supreme Profound enter the Devil Chi Abyss. Han Li uses spirit eyes to scan and finds that the Devil Chi has formed an abyss, extremely deep and wide. Supreme Profound warns Han Li that the Devil Chi is extremely dangerous, and ordinary cultivators and devil cultivators will be affected or lose their minds if they enter. Han Li and his companions are studying the sealing formation on Spirit Turtle Island. Wei Wuyu and others provide the locations of the formation discs, but the burial sites are deep in the abyss of demonic energy, which worries Han Li. Han Li points out that the deeper they go into the demonic energy, the faster the exorcism divine thunder is consumed, a fact that the three major cultivators are either unaware of or deliberately concealing. Han Li enters the Devil Chi Abyss in search of the formation's keypoint where the formation plate is buried. Venerable Ziyong believes that Han Li thunder of the divine repelling evil is not sufficient to travel back and forth through the abyss, while Wei Wuxia suspects Han Li possesses other divine powers. At a depth of 3,000 feet, Han Li discovers a flat, giant stone and inserts his little sword into it, revealing an altar. At the center of the altar is a damaged stele inscribed with indecipherable broken runes. Despite being damaged, the stele's spiritual sense remains, emitting a milky white spiritual light. Han Li removes a fragment of the stele and discovers its unusual softness, which allows it to be easily pressed by his fingers. Han Li and Yinyu search for the fiend core drills separately, using the electric grid and divine lightning, respectively. Han Li obtains 4 fiend core drills and places them in a jade box. Amidst the demonic aura, Han Li uses the Yin Luo banner to absorb demonic energy to repair the banner's body. After exiting seclusion, Han Li learns from Yin Yu that his second nascent soul has completed its cultivation. The nascent soul is a black and green infant that has cultivated the profound nether transformation from the profound Yin arts and possesses the netherworld banner. Yin Yu speculates that Han Li may be hesitating about whether to give the second nascent soul a physical body. Mulan successfully forms her core formation, allowing Nangong Wan's soul-locking curse to be lifted. The 6-winged frost centipede larva's growth is slow, having only shed its shell once. The larva exhibits aggressive behavior, indicating the possibility of another shedding. Han Li comes to the insect room to find the larva frozen in ice. With erratic movements, a caravan from the withered sparrow tribe sets out for the Heavenly Waves Temple to pay tribute. Led by their chief, Heron. Though small, the Heron tribe desperately desires a divine master, and Heron brings several young tribe members to participate in the spirit awakening ceremony. The dangers of traveling across the grasslands with their offerings are manifold, as a smaller tribe once mysteriously vanished after having their tribute stolen. In the midst of rustling bushes, the young man Tumen is startled to find an immortal master clad in white robes, who introduces himself as Master Han. Master Han learns that the Blue Heron tribe is embarking on a pilgrimage to the Sacred Hall but lacks the protection of an immortal master. Chief Blue Heron hires Master Han to accompany them, offering 25 spirit stones. Master Han agrees and collects half the payment. After Han Li left the southern heaven, he entered the heavenly land Grassland, where he encountered an elder from the abrupt tribe in the southern part of the grassland who chased him. After killing the elder, his doppelganger escaped. Han Li was then chased by many high-level nascent soul cultivators and escaped with the help of the blood shadow escape technique. However, the severe injury caused the baleful energy to prematurely fight back, and Han Li was forced to use the 5 ghosts confinement technique to seal the energy. But this forced him to sacrifice most of his cultivation to escape pursuit. Han Li Hanru a delegation going to the Heavenly Land Shrine to pay tribute. But his cultivation was sealed and he only retained his gold-devouring beetle and second nascent soul. Great Zenith God reminded Han Li that he could temporarily lift the seal using the treasures of heaven and earth, but that it would come at a high cost. Han Li captured a mature devouring gold beetle and, fearing its threat, prepared to extract and refine its nascent soul. Han Li set up restrictions and used the Yinquan banner to refine the devouring gold beetle's nascent soul. Kangaling tribe chief Ying Lu found that recently, high-level cultivators had flown by at low altitudes, speculating that the path was safe. 2 cultivators, Brother Li and Taoist Shu, searched the nearby area for the missing person, but to no avail. On a towering green stone altar, an indistinct infant cultivates in an emerald green bowl. 4 elders release green mist with emerald green dharma flags to help the infant recover its damaged nascent soul. The red-haired elder expresses gratitude for the 3 fellow cultivators' assistance, promising to keep it in mind. The elders discuss the alien who commands the gold-eating beetles, wielding formidable purple flames, golden lightning techniques, a powerful flying sword, and a lightning escape technique. Grand Immortal who severely wounds the alien, who nevertheless escapes with grievous injuries and remains at large. The Saintess accompanies the Great Jin guests to the Tianlan Holy Hall to preside over an awakening ceremony. If the alien hails from a powerful Great Jin sect, their identity may be exposed. However, the infant suddenly screams and writhes in agony, its form dispersing. The elders once again use green mist to assist the infant in mending its nascent soul. Han Li acquires a golden devouring beetle and puts it inside his ghost banner. Suddenly, a nascent soul cultivator flies over Han Li convoy but doesn't interact with it. Han Li senses another tribe's convoy, the Red Wolf tribe. The 2 convoys join together, and Ying Lu recognizes the Red Wolf leader. They learn that each convoy has a nascent soul cultivator protecting them. Ying Lu proposes that several small tribes join forces to travel together. But the Red Wolf leader hesitates. Conversations between men and women begin in the 2 convoys, attracting Han Li attention. A demon rock appears in the sky, causing chaos among the Sky Eagle and Red Wolf tribes. They call upon their nascent soul cultivators to deal with it. 2 vultures attack the blue-robed man, their cries causing him to faint. Han Li released a fireball to save the blue-robed man, But the vultures were not killed. Han Li summoned the cold snow centipede, and the vultures retreated in fear as the centipede froze them to death. The injured vultures attacked the blue-robed man, but were killed by Han Li flying needles. The blue-robed man was amazed by Han Li needle-like magic weapon. The cold snow centipede also froze 2 more vultures to death. The blue-robed man asked about the origin of the centipede, and Han Li replied that it was his spirit insect. Han Li identifies Feng Yu as a member of the Great Jin noble family based on a jade pendant that was hiddenly carried. Feng Yu's jade pendant has an automatic guardian function, indicating his prominent status in the Great Jin family. To relieve the evil spirit on his body, Han Li decides to maintain a temporary distance from Feng Yu. The blue-robed Maple Yu wears a key engraved with the character Wind around his neck. With a complex expression, the convoy continues to advance, and Han Li senses the location of the temple headquarters and observes its interior and defensive formations with his divine consciousness. After sensing someone approaching, Han Li sent his artifact spirit, Silver Moon, to investigate. Silver Moon reported a core formation cultivator and a foundation establishment cultivator 10 miles away. With the foundation establishment cultivator's aura similar to Feng Yu's, Han Li decided to monitor their movements with his divine sense, but later discovered that the blue-robe foundation establishment cultivator was emitting 7-colored spiritual light, similar to a Buddhist cultivation method. Learning that Buddhist cultivation methods could remove sha qi, Han Li speculated that the blue-robe cultivator might hold the key to removing the sha qi. He flew into the forest and found the blue-robe cultivator heavily injured, protected by a 7-colored light shield. While the hawk-eyed purple-robed cultivator was attacking the shield, Han Li rescued the blue-robed cultivator, killed the hawk-eyed purple-robed cultivator, and acquired a blue jade with 7-colored spiritual light from the blue-robed cultivator's body. Han Li gives blue-robed Maple Moon a Haoyuan pill to save the injured Silver Moon and uses a poisoned needle to release the poisonous blood in his body. After waking up, Maple Moon realizes that he has been severely poisoned, and that the antidote does not work. He learns that his poisoning was caused by bitter poison used by the Kong family. Han Li informs Maple Moon that the Haoyuan pill has only temporarily suppressed the toxic gas and that he will still die in a day. He also reveals that the only reason Maple Moon is not dead yet is because the silver key around his neck is temporarily blocking the poison. The Feng family of Guanyin is a powerful force in Ganyang Mansion. Han Li helps a young man dispel evil spirits and learns that the young man possesses the Lingjia pendant, a Feng family heirloom. An ancestor of the Feng family was a Buddhist disciple, and the family inherited Buddhist cultivation techniques, which have now been replaced by Confucian cultivation techniques. However, the Feng family retained the method for cultivating Buddhist cultivation techniques. The ancestor of the young man cultivated a relic, but encountered a bottleneck during the foundation establishment stage. The 10 poisons were caused by the young ancestor casting a spell to restrict the cultivation of the poison cultivator Feng Zhen, who then joined the Kong family to assassinate the young man. Han Li captures core formation cultivator Maple Moon with a spell and kills Nascent Soul cultivator Old Hawkeye. Han Li's past experiences remind him to be cautious over extending his divine sense. Han Li returns to the Azure Heron camp and finds that the other tribes have already left together. Han Li detects a faint divine sense scanning the convoy and immediately conceals his aura. A senior from the Incongruity tribe in the camp tower seems to have sensed Han Li, but doesn't take any action. The other party's released divine sense showed that the truth might be Han Li's divine sense has malfunctioned. The foreign cultivator's divine sense far exceeds Han Li. The second result is extremely unfavorable for Han Li, because he fears that foreign cultivator's divine abilities. Han Li thinks that it would be difficult to deceive the other party, but the Great Master and the Divine Maiden will deal with the foreign cultivator. So he gives up the pursuit. Han Li continues to gather qi and conceal his aura, and searches the storage pouch of the old man with the hawk eyes. He discovers the 10 extreme poison bitter toxin and takes it in his own storage pouch. Feng Yu is trying to remove the poison, but Han Li thinks that he will fail. Han Li has already comprehended the Great Evolution Divine Lord's words and is no longer afraid to reveal his identity or the Nascent Soul cultivator's attack. The convoy has stopped by a big river. A group of 6 Foundation Establishment stage cultivators and 2 Core Formation stage cultivators arrives. The cultivators question the leader of the caravan. However, Han Li speaks on the leader's behalf. The cultivators suspect that there is a traitor in the caravan. They locate Feng Yu and another veiled races person, and prepare to strike at the traitor hiding in the carriage. The traitor, Zhang Jianying, reveals herself, holding a snow pearl and refusing to submit to the cultivators' demands. The cultivators recognize the snow pearl and demand that Zhang Jianying hands it over, or else she will be killed. A man shoots a golden flame stone, which Han Li steals. Ji Yu, a core formation cultivator, asks Han Li to turn over the stone or harm himself. Han Li refuses, resulting in a conflict. Ji Yu and a woman in white confirm the identity of the stone and intend to eliminate Han Li and the barbarians. Han Li unleashes a black light curtain to resist the attacks, revealing his nascent soul cultivation. The woman panics and asks for mercy, but Han Li refuses to spare them. A formidable young man captured by a Da Jin cultivator committed suicide, and Han Li was unable to save him. After absorbing the demonic energy, the demonic cloud returned to Han Li's body, and he and Feng Yu fled the scene, unaware of what had transpired. The ordinary members of the Sudden Tribe were left bewildered. Days later, an immortal master from the Temple of Sanctity uncovered the truth and identified the murderer as an elder from the Yin Luo sect. The elder from the Yin Luo sect possessed the precious ghost Luo banner and other treasures, prompting the immortal masters from the Temple of Sanctity to remain on high alert to prevent his escape from the Sao Yuan. The spirit opening ceremony of the temple was concluded prematurely, with over 100 high-ranking immortal masters from the Sudden Tribe gathering to prepare for an encirclement of the elder from the Yin Luo sect. The sacred maiden of Tianlan summons the holy beast incarnate using an altar and a magic circle. The blue wind bull and the white giant python are sacrificed on the altar, their flesh and blood absorbed by the azure sands. The ritual succeeds, and the blood-soaked sand envelops the crimson glow, forming a blood cocoon. The blood cocoon is drawn into a giant cauldron and infused with spiritual energy, preparing to hatch the holy beast incarnate. The sacred maiden of Tianlan enlists the protection of 2 grand masters to guard against any mishaps. Han Li is being pursued by a late-stage nascent soul cultivator and is unable to shake off his pursuer. Grandmaster Dayan suspects that Han Li has been targeted by a non-human entity, the Tianlan Divine Beast, which may have used a similar method to the ancient demon's avatar to descend. Although the Tianlan Divine Beast's magic power is weak, its divine abilities are powerful, allowing it to accurately lock onto its target. Han Li decides to take a risky gamble by sacrificing his second nascent soul and using the Silver Moon artifact spirit to distract the enemy. Grandmaster Dayan teaches Han Li a feigned death technique to help him escape pursuit at a critical moment. Han Li uses the clone technique, letting Yin Yu transform into his appearance, carrying some gold-devouring beetles, and diverting the attention of the pursuers. The purple-haired beauty and the heavenly wave saintess track Han Li, but are fooled by Han Li's clone technique, and have to split up to pursue him. Han Li plans to use the clone technique to attract the heavenly wave saintess, and eliminate her divine beast. Han Li releases the gold-devouring beetles and the flying sword, forming a giant sword enhanced with firebirds and thunderbolts. Preparing to confront the heavenly wave saintess. The heavenly wave saintess arrives. Han Li prepares to face her with the flying sword, shield, ancient mirror and soul summoning talisman. After shattering the ice wall with the silver threads, Han Li used ice flame to freeze and crush the silver threads, simultaneously blocking the flame attacks of the silver-robed woman and the Tianlan Holy Beast. Han Li used the thunder escaping technique to dodge the Bagua 2 attack, but the fog obscured the whereabouts of the Tianlan Maiden, making it impossible for Han Li to determine her location. Han Li used the ancient mirror to release a beam of light and dispel the fog, but the Tianlan Beast emerged to block it, its corpse dissolving into white mist. Han Li realized he had been tricked and quickly attempted to escape, but the Tianlan Maiden used the void sky cauldron to conjure up jade sand that enveloped Han Li, while an invisible fluctuation sealed his thunder escaping technique.